Yes, guys, I'm back for Rio Reacts and delivered to you by Just Eat and Pepsi Max. Guys, where do we start? 3-3. Barcelona versus Inter Milan. I mean, who would have... I didn't imagine that Inter Milan could score 3 goals, right, anywhere at the moment, let alone against this Barcelona team. But it just made for a crazy game, didn't it?
You get mad nights, don't you, where the quality of the goals and the quality of the performances, you could literally... We could sit here now and talk about the game longer than they played it. It was so good. From Marcus Thuram's flick, 30 seconds, fastest ever goal in a Champions League semi-final. The first attack of the game. And that was the touch paper being lit, wasn't it? It's fantastic.
It's crazy because as good as Barcelona are, their weaknesses are as glaring. Like if you play the ball, they play their back line so high and so aggressive that if you time your run to run behind and the ball just gets hooked on, you'll get in. If you get wide and cross the ball, you'll get chances at goal. You'll cause problems in the back line. If you get set pieces and put it in the box, you'll get chances at goal. But they're absolutely kind of like, they're unwavering in their approach that they're going to create chances and score goals.
I think they know the vulnerabilities, but they then back themselves, don't they, to score more than the opposition.
Felt in the game that I can't catch my breath at times. And we're sitting there thinking, like, looking at fans and everyone was turning around like, oh my God. And more importantly, I thought we had the best seat we could have had in the house for the first 45 minutes to be just behind with popcorn looking at the 17-year-old who I think is doing things that no other 17-year-old has ever done in football.
The confidence he's got. There was a great quote after the game from Simone Inzaghi, and he said, I've not seen a player like that for 7 or 8 years. So he's kind of taken himself back to a prime Messi, right? And he said, we had to put 3 people on him. So you've got the coach of Inter Milan, the current champions of Italy, admitting that the only way they could stop this 17-year-old wonder kid is to put 3 players on him. DiMarco, I mean, I said to you during the game, I don't know whether he's disappointed or relieved to get substituted because he was just getting... They had to untie DiMarco when they got him in the dressing room after that. It was outrageous.
He's the youngest player to score in a semi-final. He's the youngest of everything at the moment, it seems. He's breaking every single record in that department. He's got around 50 goal involvements in those 100 games already. So in every 2 games, he's creating a goal or scoring a goal.
He was 12 during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. When you think about us as adults,
that is ridiculous.
He was 12 during that
crazy.
time. Yeah.
You know what? When I watched him, when I was watching the first 45 minutes, I swear to you, I couldn't take my eyes off him. As how much was going on in the game, the spotlight was just on him. And I was sitting there watching him. And every time he got the ball, and every time he engaged a defender, always had 2 against him normally, I was just more impressed with the amount of times that he changed the angle of his approach to the defender, shifted the ball in a different area, the different areas with which he touched the ball with his feet. Inside of the foot, outside of the foot, laces, back heel, and the impact with every touch was, in that first 45 especially, was a joke.
I said to you, and I stand by it, when you go to the theatre, the star of the show walks onto the stage and the spotlight lights that individual up. When he got the ball, a spotlight should have shone just around him so that no matter where you were in the stadium, you could see him properly because it was that special, the way he played.
I can't get my head around just how mesmeric he is. And I think the thing that sets him apart, and listen, I think online there's been a big debate about young players now, young wingers, and they're talking about Lamine Yamal talking about as being the best and hyped up. But some other people online going, listen, we're in Paris, by the way, are you seeing the young kid Desire Doué, who I think is a magical player as well. But I just think they're a bit different in the way that they play the game. And I think Doué is a bit freer. He roams a little bit more, whereas you know exactly where Lamine Yamal is going to be on the right-hand side 9 times out of 10. At the moment, I think Yamal impacts games in a more varied way, I think, than anyone in football right now.
Yeah.
And Desiree Doué. So I would put him, I think, at the top of the tree. Doué, I think, is a bit, he's behind him, but I'm not saying that Doué can't get up there and start going back and forth, me, you, and be one of the players that creates that on the world-class stage in the next 2 or 3 years with the likes of Lamine Yamal. There might be another person that comes into that group, but I think they've got the potential to be up there doing that.
I think if you look at the 2, Doué is the more explosive player. He's got the pace. And but he's different.
He's frightening in a different way, isn't he?
Yes, Yamal controls the situation. He's got everything boxed off. He's got all bases covered. I think he can control the game, set the tempo of the game, and win the game. I think Doué's got that explosion. So I think they're different. I think it's difficult to compare. I don't think there's a manager in world football that wouldn't take either of them offered. So, and as you just say, you could imagine them dominating for a period of time. I'll throw a question at you then. If Barcelona win the Champions League, the Ballon d'Or is going to be between Robert Lewandowski, 40 goals in 48 games, or Raphinha, 12 in the Champions League, 30 overall.
Just quickly on Raphinha, I'll let you finish that. Is the first ever Barcelona player and first ever Brazilian player to have been directly involved in 20 goals in a single Champions League campaign.
Outrageous.
So yeah, rightly so he would have been talked about. But you're going to say?
So I went in and I'm thinking it's going to be between those two. Lamine Yamal has won the Euros with Spain and was a key player for them. He scored in the last 16, the quarters, the semis. What if he's the difference in Milan in the second leg? What if he's the difference in the final? Can we make a legitimate case now
Ballon d'Or.
that he wins the Ballon d'Or?
Ballon d'Or. Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I know. 17. Ballon d'Or. And when you look at it, there's a lot of reasons why it makes all the sense in the world.
And I think it will be great to see that. If he does what you just said, I think he deserves it, right? And what I would say that it does then is it shuts up a lot of people that are really driven and motivated by stats only. Because there are people who scored far more goals.
Yes.
And have impacted in terms of just of delivery of stats. But the game isn't just about that. The game is about the eye test as well. The game is about what feeling that player gives you as well, and the impact that they can have on a stadium and people at home and getting bums on seats and off seats. Lamine Yamal, I think at the moment, I don't know if there's anyone more exciting to go into a stadium and watch right now.
The biggest compliment you can pay him as well is that when you watch Barcelona play, whether it's De Jong or Pedri in possession in central midfield, their first look is to the right to see whether they can get the ball to him.
Yeah.
So the senior players in that Barcelona team know that their best chance to win the game is when he's got the ball. That's including Raphinha being on the pitch, Lewandowski on the pitch. Whoever's there, they look to him first, and then they go down the checklist. If they can't get it to him, it goes. But it eventually gets to him somehow, doesn't it? Well, I mean, you think about it. In the game alone, he scored one of the best goals I've seen anywhere all season. He's been denied by Sommer with a great save to stick it onto the bar, and then he's hit the bar later as well. He's astonishing.
And he's put about 3 or 4 balls on a sixpence in a 6-yard box that people... Lewandowski's probably sitting there going, I wish I played.
Because he's tapping those crosses.
Exactly. Right, we've waxed lyrical there. Let's move on. Arsenal. Arsenal, PSG.
I've had a bit of stick, Ray. I've had a bit of stick.
You've had a bit of stick.
I've had a bit
in
of
the comments. In the comments, we've seen them, guys.
Yeah, but
give us the context.
It's been taken out of context. The point I made was, for a start, I didn't pass comment on whether Arsenal will get through or not, because I think it's a difficult game. If they play like they played in Madrid, they can get through. But I think it's a difficult task. The point I made was, it's a fantasy football final if it's Paris Saint-Germain against Barcelona. I think unless you're an Arsenal fan, you're looking for that game because you want to see a Champions League final that could be 7-6 because they're just going to go hell for leather and try and win the match. I didn't say anything detrimental about Arsenal. If Arsenal get through, fine. I don't mind Arsenal being in the final. I quite enjoy that. It's better for us if we've got an English team in the final. So Arsenal being there is good. But I think if you was to say to a lot of people in football who aren't Arsenal fans, what final do you want to see? They want Doué against Yamal in a Champions League final. They want those two explosive attacking teams toe to toe to see what kind of final you get.
If you're a football purist,
you want
in
that
the purest sense of the word, you want the two most attacking teams, the most free teams. And we're talking about in a time where teams are talking about being too robotic, too systematic. These two are the most freeish teams in terms of letting their wide players, attacking players, just go. The rotations that they allow within both of their teams, PSG and Barcelona, I think would make for an unbelievable spectacle and might throw us into a different cycle of football that people go, actually, Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique, they may now be the guys to follow in their philosophy of football. Because we followed Pep, and he's been great at it, and it's been a great era.
The worst thing that ever happened, and people cast your minds back, 2004, Greece won the Euros. Everybody then wanted to play Otto Rehhagel defensive football. And we went through a period of time where defensive teams were winning trophies and we were strangling the life out of football. There's a situation here where if you've got two flamboyant teams like that, it's a copycat world. Teams will try and do that. What I would say as well to the Arsenal fans who are chomping at the bit, if there is a team that can go to Paris and get the win,
they are the team.
They're the team. And if there's a team that could get to a final against Barcelona and slow them down, it's them. Because you're talking about one of the best defensive teams on the planet, organisation. There's no reason why they can't do it. But I've just got this thought in my mind. What would that final look like if it was Barca PSG? And I'm fascinated by the prospect. I also think it's a game that we could see a lot of in the next 5 or 6 years.
They're so young. These teams are so young. Just going back to Arsenal, though, I don't think it's about ability with Arsenal at this stage. I think it's about mindset. I think it's about mentality in this game. It's about belief. It's about going into that game and saying, we are meant to be here. We are going to get ourselves to that final, and we're going to show a way of playing that might not be what we're used to seeing with Arsenal, but it's going to be hard, it's going to be ugly, it's going to be gritty. And they're going to find a way, because I think that in Saka, they have a match winner.
Yes.
Who can turn the game on a head in a sixpence.
And by the way, Rhys, they get Thomas Partey back for the second leg. That's a big miss from the first leg.
Yeah, and it maybe allows Declan Rice to play a bit more advanced and give them that other bit of thrust from the middle of the pitch. So they've got positives within their team. But as many positives as they have, if the mindset and mentality isn't right going into this game, when you're 1-0 down, to say, no, guys, there's real belief here, they'll get smoked.
It's also imperative to score the first goal.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to come back from 2 down overall. I think they've got to go there, score the first goal. But if they play in Paris like they played in Madrid, then you give them a real fighting chance.
Paris aren't Madrid, though.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
This is a proper team. This I don't think they're invincible, this Paris Saint-Germain team, but they've been the best team, I think, as in terms of balance and what they've brought to the table in games so far. For me, they've been the best team in this tournament.
Thought, until I watched the semi-final against Inter, that Barca were the best team in the tournament. I think they're the best attacking team in the tournament. But I think when you add Marquinhos and Donnarumma and the two fullbacks, that defensive side of Paris Saint-Germain, to me, certainly gives them the edge over Barcelona.
Yeah, I agree. And I think just to go back to the Arsenal game with Paris Saint-Germain, my biggest concern for Arsenal is that without a centre-forward, this Paris Saint-Germain team can go man-to-man, 1v1 at the back, especially when they're on the attack, and be comfortable, fairly comfortable, and which means they have numbers further up the pitch to outnumber this Arsenal team and really suffocate them and keep them back.
Do you know one thing we're both guilty of?
What?
We've not actually given Inter Milan a chance.
Oh, they have.
In the second leg.
I said they get to the final.
Yeah.
I did. I was asked about a month ago.
You were.
The form they came into that game with, but then they just went bang. Look at us.
The blueprint is there. If they can get set pieces at home, they cannot defend set pieces, Barcelona.
Yeah.
They're a big team, aren't they? And they finished bigger than they started when they put Taremi on and others, Augusto and other people. But they're a big team. And again...
Who's the final then, Fletch? Come on, give me the final. Who's your finalists?
I still think it'll be Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain.
I'm going to go. Martinez is out as well. It's a big miss for them, the captain of Inter Milan. So I'm going to go Barca against Paris Saint-Germain as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not anti the other two. I just don't think the second leg in Italy will be played any different to the first leg in Barcelona. I just think it'll be the same game.
Yeah, it's true. I think they'll just go for it. I agree. We've got to leave it there. We're back for our fans edition delivered to you by Just Eat and Pepsi Max. Last episode, I asked you guys, if you could swap shirts with one Champions League legend, who would that be and why? And I've got loads of responses. It was all in the comments. And my favourite response was from at Finley Pete, R9, a.k.a. The Phenomenon. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
And he has to be the guy, man, that Well, listen, finally, Pete, you've won 2 tickets to Man United versus Athletic Bilbao at Old Trafford. We'll be there.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for that one.
That's a tough game, you know.
Oh. Well, they got to get something in the first game.
Yeah.
To be able to go there and
I think the winner of that wins the tournament. That's the final.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, listen, guys, make sure you check out all your DMs. The team will be reaching out to sort out your prize, and make sure you are ready and you get to that stadium and you support the boys. Now, for this week's question, and Fletch, are you ready for this? The best answer will win the Ultimate Champions League prize. 2 tickets to the UEFA Champions League final in Munich with flights and accommodation. Plus, you can meet me at the Just Eat House, where I will be recording a live Rio Reacts episode with some of the Champions League legends. So listen, guys, the question this week is, who is the GOAT of Champions League nights? I'm talking one player who just delivers in the biggest moments. Champions League.
Oh, but you've got the obvious ones.
Ronaldo's the first name you think of,
Yeah,
right?
Messi's the next one.
Bale.
Do you know, I'd say Benzema over Bale.
Oh, Benzema, yeah.
I'd say Benzema over Bale. I'd also say Sergio Ramos.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching games and he was like the puppeteer, pulling the strings and organising everybody, especially away.
Yeah.
We always think about the match with goal scorers and that, but he was...
Mine's got to be Cristiano Ronaldo. You can't be the top goal scorer in a tournament and produce some crazy moments in games when your team needs it. Finals, semis, quarters, the lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what names come out in the comments.
I think it's a relatively short list.
Yeah.
I think you can overthink it.
Yeah.
It's a short list.
There's not many more than what we just mentioned there.
No. And you've got to win it. You've probably got to win more than one. So that puts a line through a few. Zinedine Zidane?
Yeah, that volley, the left foot volley. Raul, scored a lot of goals. You know what I mean? Won it as well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what you guys have to say. Listen, guys, for all the details and the TNCs, head over to Rio Ferdinand Presents on Instagram and check the bio. And that's all for Rio Reacts, guys. Remember to tune in every games week and send in your answers to my questions for a chance to win some unbelievable prizes from Just Eat and Pepsi Max throughout the Champions League. Get involved, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode of Rio Reacts. Hope you've enjoyed this show. And if you have, make sure you leave us a review and follow this Rio Ferdinand Presents feed to make sure you never, ever miss an episode. If you've got a point you think we should be discussing or want to put us on the spot with a question you want answering, get in touch using the fansfirst@rioferdinandpresents.com email address or use #RFP on social. See ya on the next one.